What is up, pimps? It's your boy Cree. Well, I mean, I kind of didn't plan on doing this episode like this because there's so much news already going on about it. Like, you can go to any website or any tuber, any of that shit. Everybody and their mama's covering it. Okay, it was like big deal, big news some days ago. But then over time, the damn thing got to where it just got out of hand. Everybody was talking about it. So there's like so much content out there that we got so much to look at. Obviously, it did not end the way that we all thought it would. It's actually kind of sad. But it all started with a photograph, and a lot of questions got answered to a degree. You have to forgive me. I'm a little fatigued, man. I went to work. Boom, I'm fried. Anyway, thanks to everybody that stopped by in the chat. I'm not sure if this sounds right or not. Yeah. It's like, in the end, the lady lost her life in such a weird, wicked way. Hey, what's up, Kay? I'm sure Kay's been following some of this stuff. God, it's like the internet has exploded with news about this, like so bad that I didn't even have to really do this episode. I just felt like, let's finish this story together. I mean, because I did it Sunday, and within a matter of a day, it was all over with. Do you actually know how it all really just imploded? This photo right here. Yeah. They were spotted at this car wash, and I'm not sure what they were doing there, but apparently they had been in town for days. And it's like the more stuff that's coming about, we're hearing that there was like a third car that was purchased. There was they paid a homeless guy to they paid a homeless guy to get them a hotel room. And so apparently all this cash that everybody thought she had, they kind of blew through it quick. I think it was the fact of like having to pay people off, get hotels, get vehicles on the fly. And another thing, they say this 93,000 she might have had. I think she owed like 70,000 something on the mortgage. Like, I'm not sure what the numbers are. I wasn't there. I'm not hip to that shit, but I'd seen somewhere that somebody said that they only had like $6,000 to run on. So I'm thinking that their plan was to just keep popping cars every other so many days to stay off the radar, right? I mean, that's kind of smart, but you're going to go through money fast. But end result, what happened was this guy right here, I guess he's like the manager of that car wash. And he was complaining that there was a vehicle left there. He went to go take his niece or somebody to school and then come back. The car was there. Hours had passed. The car was still there again. So finally, he's like, he calls the police and he's like, hey, I have a vehicle up here that looks suspicious. This might belong to the couple from Alabama. Again, no one took them serious. And then he goes into his footage and he ended up digging out this photo. And they're like, that's him. That's the fucking guy. He's snitching, man. He's snitching. And then I I go on to hear that there was a lot of people out there that actually wanted them to be successful and get away. Hey, what's up, Adair? Peep Show Paul, what is up, man? So yeah, the fucking plot thickens so hard. But still, what's fucked up aside from everything else is still more days went by. And nobody gave a shit. Like nobody could get a tail, a trace, anything. From seeing some videos, it was my understanding that the stuff at the adult store was probably wigs, multiple versions of wigs. Because you can't just run around with the same one. You know, they've already put out pictures of you on the news, what you would look like with short hair or, you know, this or whatever. So I think when they abandoned the truck, they had gotten a hold of a Cadillac car. And I think by then the feds rolled up to that place in Indiana. And then they were like, it was a cop from that town that noticed the vehicle, noticed the passengers or the occupants. And all of a sudden a chase ensued. Yeah. The glory holes. Let me see if I can whip up another photo. But there's like photos of the wreck, and just now there's so many other videos that have surfaced from other people's cell phones watching him get arrested. Now we're going to be able to see some of that. I'm not going to sit here and harp on it all fucking night because it's kind of sad how it ended up. Now that Vicky has passed away, we'll never get the full story. And now it's just basically his words and testimony, you know? Man, that is so fucked. But I guess when they were getting attempted to get stopped or they were getting rammed or pit maneuvered or whatever, they were just tearing shit up across the fucking way. And they said that Vicky had called 911 and said, I have my finger on the trigger. Next thing you know, there's a pop. And I guess the cops approached the vehicle, guns drawn. They're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he's like, hey, somebody help my wife. She shot herself. He was saying wife. Or was he saying Vicky White shot herself? Now, he had the gun. This man right here, he had some footage of the guy walking out, or he was messing with the truck at the time. He had the door open. He was kind of messing around with the inside. And he said, yeah, I think he's putting the pistol in his waistband right there. And they were saying that maybe he was driving and that maybe he was a little out of practice because he's been locked up so long. And, you know, when shit gets hectic, you know, it's like you can't really function that easy under pressure. So everyone's saying, well, what if he shot her? You know, well, then they'd have to do ballistics on him to see if he had any of that damn, I cannot think for the life of me. Not stippling, but anytime you fire off a gun, it's going to leave residue all over you. The gas, the soot, all that. But now they're wanting to be tight-lipped about certain things. Like they said, when we go to extradite him, we're not going to let anybody know. When he's leaving, we're not going to make a fucking big debacle out of it because I guess it's already looked like one hell of one anyway, which is embarrassing to the law enforcement, tipsters. I mean, there's like video, like press releases, people putting together their own footage about. There's photos in there that's saying how much money they had, which was not a lot, but no, wrong one. Let's see. So I found this chick today. First it was this dude I found, and then I found this chick later on. She had been covering it the whole way. Like she did multiple lives, just all kinds of fucking ass sucking dude. And I know what it is. It's about the views and the subs and all that, but I didn't want to go that route and just sit there and just hammer in about just covering it round the clock, because I don't have to be the one to do that. There's so many other people out there that do it. So, but we're just going to finish it up on this side over here. What the fuck's going on in the chat? Yeah, there was a photo of the car wrecked. There was like a big blood smear on the inside window of the I was like, man, this is too dark. So that chick, she's gonna, man, I think she was all in, dude. She did not want to deal with any of that shit. I don't think Indiana's going to pursue any charges on them, because the truck that was found in the car wash was not stolen. And I guess there was no crimes reported. So Indiana's like, he's got too much going on. Let's just send him back. Oh, really? Really, J-Rod? So you never know what can be said, what can be trusted. And it's now his word versus anyone's. I think it's in his best interest to tell all the truth. Don't embellish a little, like let them know everything this chick has said, done. I mean, it's only right for the way it went, because I know we kind of jokingly said shit and we laughed in the last episode, but I was thinking they were going to be gone forever to a degree. But yeah, like a day later, that guy, he gets some popped. So let's see. Hold on. Now, this is that one chick that she's had a few lives since then. Man, they were doing some thorough shit on her lives. But I hate to cut her shit out, but
national colors orange, and I was like, surely I have something. Literally nothing. It's gonna wear my orange suit because we're back in prison. This case has been a wild ride. It's been exhausting as well. My word, this was like, it was just, there was so much to cover all the time. And even today, we've got new things to look at, which I've, of course, prepared some videos for you. We've got the press conference that happened today. And instead of fumbling around, with links and trying to find what, I rather just watched it. I took some notes. And then what I've done is put it in my video editor and boosted the sound as much as possible. I still think the questions are very, very quiet. I found the best quality sound I possibly could, and then I boosted it. But those questions, man, questions at press conferences. Oh, my word.
But she was talking about how she had to dig out all this footage. It took her like so much time to prep it, because now all this stuff's kind of coming to light.
Yes. And here's a super sticker, a moderator. Damn. Thank you so much. Okay, so when we look at this, apparently they bought this car when they ran the plates, and the car was not reported as a stolen vehicle. Remember, the police said, oh, it's not a stolen vehicle. We can't do anything about this. Then the U.S. Marshal said, yeah, well, they just didn't know it was stolen yet. However, from the press conference, I understand today, they bought this vehicle for approximately $6,000 in Tennessee. How weird is that? I also find that very strange. Like when their first Ford broke down, I'm trying to get in their minds now. I'm like, so the Ford broke down, and then it's like, let's try spray paint it. Right. Okay. Interesting. And then what? Run off, walk off? Where are you going? To buy another vehicle? It's just so weird. Anyway, so thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. So look at this.
Yeah, it's sticking out today. That's what draw my attention to it. I always come over when I see.
Can you play it with him walking out again?
Yeah.
This guy needs the reward.
I'm not sure. Let's see.
Yeah, I was thinking he's gonna get the reward money.
There he is right there. He's standing in between the doors. He's fooling with the gun right there. I think he's taking a leak at first when I seen this, but I see him sticking in his waistband.
He's looking around suspicious.
Yeah. Don't you think that's suspicious? When he walks this way is when I seen that tattoo on his arm, and I knew that's who it was. Because I pulled it up on my phone, and he's only got tattoos on one arm.
This guy absolutely should get the reward, right?
Now I'm thinking here maybe he's waiting for Vicky to bring another vehicle, the one they end up in shortly after. But who knows?
So what do you think he's doing there? Still messing with the gun?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Probably like
I'm just going to pause it for a second. Rochelle Pranzo, welcome. Welcome to the Pranzos. How is it possible that...
Now you can see him in the tailgate.
Yeah.
I mean, there he stands now. You can see him in the tailgate. That's crazy. Welcome, Brandy. Good job. Good job. They had to wash the truck. Why? It's actually just leaving the truck here. Someone was saying it's actually really easy to steal a car this way, to like leave one in the parking bay and then take another one from another wash area. But this car wash is not big. We're going to look at it with a little Google Man, okay? And then you'll see it's like, when I looked at it today with a little Google Man, I was like, whoa, Street View, that makes it look even smaller. I know Brian Enton's also been there, but I was like, looking at it, and I'm like, it looks so much
What's up,
smaller than one might
DGMS?
think. I mean, what were they doing? Why is he pretending? Oh, is he even washing the car here? I don't know. It's just very, very strange. Yeah, watch. If you're late, you're rolling in now. You haven't missed too much yet. Just watch it at 1.5 speed and you'll catch up in no time. Yeah, nobody would find me with all my wigs. They really wouldn't. I have many different looks.
He's gonna walk up right here in a minute. He's probably gonna meet him out.
Can you believe it? Okay, now we're going to look at the much anticipated. Everyone's been messaging me and asking me, what about a lot of the comments are also about, what about the scene of where they were chasing them down? Now, please know there are a variety of clips all over the internet. So I had to go and find them everywhere. So guess what I was doing all day? You know, because there's not that many bystanders there. There's not that many people filming it, uploading it, but there are quite a few clips and I've put it together. These first two now don't have sound, so I added some music. I'm going to pause it here for a second because you can actually see them arrest Casey right there. And I want to answer Brenda. Brenda says, and they supposedly only had $29,000 left of the $95,000. See, the $95,000 is assumed because of her house sale. And I know she withdrew about, they said, approximately $90K from different bank accounts. But I wonder how much she saved up over time, because when we looked at the listing of the house, it seems like she owed something like $72,000 on the mortgage, and then after processing fees and everything, she might have only walked away with like just less than $6,000. You know, so I'm thinking about that. But they did say, which I would like to confirm, that she withdrew over $90K from various bank accounts. So that is interesting. And yeah, only $29,000 left. I mean, the one truck was around 6,000. Even if the other one was, what, 5,000, then that's 11. So that would take us to 40. So what happened to the rest? They had a lot. They had a whole arsenal of weapons as well. So I don't know. They booked a motel for 14 nights, a 2.5-star motel. Oh, my word.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
thinking
let's
like
continue on. Look closely.
that's where they fucked up. I think they stayed in town too long. That's what happened. I think when they got to that part of town, it was like, okay, next problem, we need a new car, straight up. Like with every area we cover, we need to have a new vehicle. It's only right, because I mean, they're getting away with it so far, and they just caught them slipping, man. They went to the wrong fucking place, dude.
I know the footage isn't great. This is the very best I could do. This is what's available. said she shot herself almost immediately. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Look. I'm going to pause.
Yeah, there he
you can
goes.
see in the middle of
He's
the screen. You can see this very tall guy in what appears to
Right
be, what is
there.
that, a white vest? What is he wearing here? You know? Do you know at what point she shot herself? They said at the press conference, which we'll look at as well, almost immediately. So, yes. So watch there. You can just see him there in the...
dude. Honestly, if it was me and she was about to shoot herself anyway, I would tell her, hey, go ahead and shoot me now and then shoot yourself that way. So I don't know. I mean, what would he benefit for going back to prison except having this hellacious story? I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want to go through that.
the background.
We could hear her on the line saying she had her finger on the trigger.
Yes, we were live.
And if the other bombardment
And they tore that shit up.
shot victim, female is still armed. Male apparently has shot himself. Female still armed.
I'm not even going to apologize for all interruptions because I've got things to tell you. So Kathleen Strickler says she called and told them. Yes, apparently she called 911 and said that she's got her finger on the trigger.
Like,
when
why?
they said that the male shot himself, that was what they initially reported. But apparently she shot herself and the bullet that went through her grazed him. Apparently
wow.
he did not shoot himself. I don't know. That's what I've now read today when I looked at the updates of that. So let me know if you know anything different, but that's what I found out today. So
Yeah, let me pause this for a second. Now, when it was like by the time the photos surfaced about the car wash, the feds were closing in on them. By then, the cops had already pretty much made them out, and then from there, they didn't really have much time to do anything. I think they were just barely getting away, and somebody in town seen them and was like, the cops seen them, was like, oh, hey, that's the missing pair. And they said that there was no resistance for the arrest, and but they said she shot herself. She's alive, but she's in serious grave danger. And then it was like within an hour, news broke that she had passed away, which was shitty news, man.
let's continue. Thank you, Chris.
41, then east on a Birch.
Hey, Lieutenant Peter Pronzo.
Further traffic's going to be on TAC 5.
One law enforcement vehicle. Two patients at this moment.
Okay, so this is the press conference that happened today. As I said, I've taken it and boosted the sound as much as possible. There's a lot of information to unpack here, which is why this is important to look at. So we've looked at the car wash footage. We've looked at the car chase footage as well. What we have, of course, we'd love to have body cam footage and dash cam footage and all that. I mean, maybe at some point they'll release it. I don't know. And now we're going to look at the press conference that happened today to see what we learn. And there is a lot to learn here. Just to give you a quick, I'll give you a quick overview of what we can expect to learn here. Apparently, they bought the the Ford F-150. They had about $29,000 in cash left. They showed us pictures as well, which we'll look at. She had multiple wigs. They paid for 14 nights at the motel. They are not married, and they don't believe that Casey shot Vicky, but we're waiting for the autopsy results to really confirm that. They had an arsenal of weapons inside the car, which they also showed us a picture of. It's a lot more than we thought. There's 5 or more guns from what I saw. Their plan was faulty and their plan failed, is what the sheriff said. Apparently, Casey did not express any remorse for her death. So I'm just giving you the bullet points that I've written down here, just so that you know and you can listen even more carefully. They did not find any substantial drugs to report, so I think that was interesting too. The vehicle being flipped on its side like that is what disrupted this shootout plan that Casey had, because Casey said if the police catch him, he's going to have a shootout, and that's what he planned to do. Okay, so let's continue here. She apparently shot herself almost immediately. They stayed at this Motel 41. We're going to look at it as well, and I believe Brian Enton's going live as well on the hour, so we'll see what he's got to say. They bought the F-150 for approximately $6,000 in Tennessee when they had escaped shortly after they'd escaped, apparently. The investigation is expected to go on for a number of weeks. There are U.S. Marshals, the Indiana State Police, the Evansville Police.
Yeah, and it's like I was telling Desaw, I said, you know, they very well could charge him with her death. And she's like, no, it's self-inflicted. I was like, no. Judging the situation, they very well could, like, because any kind of homicide committed in the commission of a felony, of especially this kind of scenario, he could get charged with her death just to really drive it home, because she didn't deserve the death penalty. He did, you know. Why did he not tell her to shoot him and then shoot yourself? Like, or give me the gun, I'll shoot me, and then you shoot yourself, or do what you want to do. Apparently she had the fucking balls between the two, because she did everything. She broke him out, made the plans, used her own resources, put herself on the line, and yet he's going right back to where he started. He's just going to have one hell of a story. Like, that is so fucked.
Vandenberg Police, law enforcement from Alabama, Tennessee, the FBI, and everyone has been involved in this.
We introduced what had happened over the last 24 hours. I'd like to introduce people who've been involved in this since yesterday, and that's Gabe Guerrero. He's the Great Lakes Task Force Deputy Commander. Southern Indiana U.S. Marshal Dan McClan. Steve Lockyer, our coroner. Chief Billy Bolin, Assistant Chief Phil Smith, and ISP Justin Bean, who's part of our task force. As everybody knows, we're here today because we were seeking out this particular fugitive from Alabama who had been in on a capital murder offense and had been in Evansville for approximately 1 week. We were fortunate to have cooperation from law enforcement from Alabama, Mississippi, our U.S. Marshal Task Force, which is comprised of members of the Sheriff's Office, the Indiana State Police, and the Evansville Police Department, and the U.S. Marshal Service. Because of all the resources, we received a lot of tips. We got some good surveillance videos that showed a pickup truck that had been left at a car wash, and then a subsequent vehicle that they took and escaped in from the car wash, which was a Cadillac. We recently found out that they'd been staying at a hotel down the road here. It used to be a Motel 6, and now I think it's changed names. And they had a 14-day stay there.
Pause. A 14-day stay. So I pause, and then we talk about it. A 14-day stay. I know I'm quite small here. Sorry. Let me just see if this works. Okay. That might work a little bit better, right? 14-day stay. To me,
yeah.
If the primary motive was to be on the run, then why would they only be on the run for 4 days and then sit in a hotel for 6? You know what I mean? To me, it just seems like buying the men's clothing, buying the stuff at the adult store, which could have just been wigs, we never know, and then chilling kind of at a motel is just either.
Well, think about it. By the time they had already stayed in Indiana, the news was just all over this shit so fucking hard. It probably made it way more complicated for them to keep moving and acquiring new vehicles. So I think they were following their gut and was like, look, it's national news attention at this point. Like, we've got to really be very, very careful. And I think it was just, I don't even think it was about the reward money. I think these fucking assholes that were complaining about them leaving vehicles everywhere is what got them fucked up. Like, why wouldn't they park them somewhere where nobody would give a shit? I wouldn't go to a ramshackle car wash and knowing there's a camera, a CC camera. Like, dude, that's like asking for it. But I'm guessing after so many days on the road, fatigue, your options become very, very slim because now they're able to track you from one vehicle so many hours into one state. And then now, since you've had a few days and hours or whatever drop on them, you get a little further. By then, you've been free for over a week and the shit has really hit the fan. So I think they were just going to keep getting new vehicles, but I don't know where they would end up. It's not like they can go into Canada. I think they kind of got stuck in that Evansville, honestly. And then all this shit happened.
You don't realize it's 2022 and how viral these cases can go and how much information can spread, and that people are literally going to, you can't just lie low. People are going to be looking for you. To also think of all the surveillance footage everywhere, like leaving the F-150 at the car wash and then Vicky picks him up in the Cadillac. I mean, all the police had to do was drive around the area, find the Cadillac, and then kind of do a stakeout and wait for them to come out. That's literally what happened. So crazy.
Oh, but that's the thing, though. They said that there was so many tips flying in after so many days that they had to check out absolutely each and every one of them. And I don't blame them because any one of them could stick. And it just so happens the one unlikely type of person was the one that brought this whole fucking thing down.
But it just seems to me like
they were trapped in the town. They couldn't get out.
The drive was to hook up, to get together. I don't know. It just seems like, oh, we'll just stay here for 14 days and chill out in the room together. I mean, what? Karen Broderick, welcome to membership. Thank you for supporting the channel. 14 days.
We were fortunate that during our investigation yesterday, an Evansville police officer who was just doing his good diligence of patrolling and being smart noticed the vehicle in the parking lot of the hotel and notified us.
They ignored him.
But yes, James should get a lot of credit, the car wash guy, because he notified everyone way before and they didn't take him very seriously. Also, believe it or not, the motel was across the road from the sheriff's department. Like, do they think they're in a movie? What kind of movie is this? Seriously, I'm sorry to be like snarky now, but Dumb and Dumber is a Dumb and Dumber. Where are they? What are they doing? Like, I know what's so clever. Let's stay right across from the sheriff's department. I mean, you could see it from there. That's crazy. What?
The task force members got together. They drove down there, set up surveillance on the hotel. Soon thereafter, the two suspects exited the hotel and fled out of the hotel parking lot northbound on US Highway 41, turned in at an industry known as Anchor here in Evansville. They went through the parking lot, went through a grass field. The members of the U.S. task force basically rammed the vehicle and pushed it into a ditch. And we later found out, had they not done that, the fugitive was going to engage in a shootout with law enforcement.
See, that was his plan. Had they not actually rammed that vehicle and had it not tipped over into a ditch, Casey was ready for a complete shootout. And he did express allegedly that he thought, yeah, Vicky's going to lose her life, and so was he. He's going to go all out on a shootout. That's scary, which just shows from the beginning, of course, we know this, that he had no regard for her whatsoever. What a thing that he's the one that's still alive right now, you know, and she lost her life. Now, I saw a comment there saying, how could she drive the vehicle, shoot herself and all of that and make the phone call and everything? But the thing is, if she was driving the vehicle, because I know there's conflicting reports. I saw Ashley Banfield was actually trying to confirm now which one is it. Did he drive? Did she drive? Because there really are conflicting reports.
Okay, this is what I'm thinking. If anyone has ever been on a road trip or went really far away in a vehicle with a family or a loved one, what's the first thing that happens? You and whoever's going on this trip, you're definitely taking turns driving. She can't do it all. Neither can he. I'm thinking this was a simple case of they were probably like really close. Like as soon as they got that Cadillac, they were going to ball out and just keep pushing. But just from the time that so many days had passed by and they had stayed in that town because shit was getting so heavy, they were all over the news. It was kind of like they had to stay holed up, and they're like, okay, they're looking for a vehicle anywhere, anyone that would be willing to turn away from it for cash, and hopefully trust an individual to not say, hey, this was the people or this was the woman. I think they simply got stuck in town, and had they left maybe hours beforehand, they probably would have got a little further up north, but then they would have needed to start diverting themselves, because I seen in the chat, go to the country, go to Wyoming and all that. And it's like, you know, they got away with it that far. I'm sure their options, their mind was just racing. Like I said in the last episode, it sounds exciting and glorious, like you can get away with it. But after so many days, you're like, I haven't been caught yet. I'm sure it gets scarier. The pressure gets scarier. You're scared to sleep because somebody could tip off, hey, this is the hotel room they're in. That's the vehicle. I mean, can you imagine being surrounded in a hotel by police and feds and choppers and all that? And like, you basically get caught with your pants down. Like, you're not prepared. You're not ready. Honestly, they shouldn't have stayed put in no fucking town no longer than however it took to get out of there. But based on the situation, they were probably exhausted, needed to stop, needed a few days of rest. Meanwhile, the world's just slowly starting to cave in and get to them, and it's skewing their thinking. They're constantly having to divert their plans of the next 5 minutes, the next 3 hours out, based on what's going on in the news. Now, mind you, by the time the photograph of the car wash incident, I think they could feel the pressure, because by then a week's went by and they're like, okay, we can't even show our fucking face. Like, how come Vicky isn't on camera for anything? Seriously. How come, like, there's no footage of her anywhere thus far? Because after a week into it, they were able to see on the news, like, hey, they're following our lead. Like, we're just ahead of them by a day or so.
So about that, from people who were
Our quick thinking, our actions, sometimes people may call that unnecessary action, but that action.
sorry, Deborah, there are two conflicting reports between the U.S. Marshals and the sheriff, and then bystanders. It's just confusing to know exactly. It would make more sense to me that he was driving, although he might have been really out of practice.
They probably had to take turns. Also, it didn't help that that fucking degenerate sheriff down there was doing press releases every day, acting like this was his carnival. And I think that's why the Indiana people just didn't want to be in the middle of it. They're like, hey, we caught him, come get him, whatever, here he is. We don't want no attention this way. Handle your business. Like, they're being more professional about it than the actual jail that lost custody of them.
So,
May have saved many of my deputies and fellow law enforcement officers' lives. And that's why I represent the sheriff's office. I want to bring my people home, and I don't care about the fugitives' lives.
wow. She unalived herself right after the crash. Like, pretty much soon after the crash, she unalived herself. She apparently called 911, said she's got a finger on the trigger, and then unalived her.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like, maybe when they realized, oh shit, this cop knows who we are, it's on. This is fucking on. He starts pushing it, and she thinks by calling 911 and saying, hey, I have a gun, do not come near us. Maybe it would make it like they could get away, maybe, if they did some slick shit in the vehicle. But obviously, protocol, the cops cannot do that. I mean, they put their life on the line. This is what they're here for. And it's like they've already given a black eye across so many agencies, and it was just not looking good, right? So I'm thinking maybe she made that call to get them to back off. But I think ultimately it just, it takes a split second to make that decision, that eternal decision.
Herself. Mods, please let me know if you want me to slow down the chat, if it's getting too fast.
Yeah.
If it protects my people's lives. And here I commend them for a job well done. They knew they were going up against a dangerous felon, a murderer. And we have photos of the weapons that were located in the vehicle. There were at least 4 handguns, semi-automatic.
Jesus Christ.
9 millimeters. And this is known as AR-15, which shoots 223.
Look at all those weapons they had. Oh, my word. That's why I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least. And here's this, what I'm talking about, this holster thing. Here's another one, 6. So maybe 7. It's so hectic. Oh, my word.
What is that, like a sex toy to the far right? One of them things you slap the girls in the asses in a dominatrix thing?
Yes, the Alabama sheriff said that he was driving, and the U.S. Marshal said that she was driving. That's the problem. We don't know exactly which one now.
Caliber round, so any one of these weapons could
Yes.
have been used to ambush our officers while they were attempting to capture a murder suspect.
Now, that was way too many guns to carry on this type of adventure. I think maybe plenty of ammo. It's not like you're going to be shooting all these bullets off left and right along the way. Maybe he talked her into all that shit, or maybe she already had it, was like, fuck it, let's bring it. But why didn't he go too? She went. I mean, there's got to be some kind of thing there. Like, I wonder if, until we get forensics about the gunpowder residue on him, I'm sure he got checked for all of it. I'm wondering, did she tell him to shoot her or vice versa? Or maybe he was supposed to shoot himself next, but he just didn't have the heart to do it. Like, I wouldn't want to go back to jail after all that. Fuck that shit.
Suspect. So I commend them for the quick and aggressive action. It probably saved a lot of chaos by doing quick action there. Once the vehicle crashed, the female suspect shot herself. The male suspect gave up when we approached the vehicle. They were both taken out of the vehicle. Life-saving measures was attempted on the female, but she...
See, life-saving measures was attempted on the female, and apparently I can see, where's this message now? Bill, apparently she shot herself in the head, not in the stomach. So I don't know. Yesterday I also thought it was in the stomach. That made absolutely no sense to me. Like, why would someone do that? Intentionally, yes, and like, whoa, that's quite... But apparently, and the blood on the side of the window kind of confirms, in a way, that it would be shooting. I'm trying to say these words very carefully. Herself in the head. Yes. I don't know what happened to that
suffered a
shotgun.
grave injury
in
and
the head.
subsequently died at the hospital last night.
Yes.
We interviewed the suspect for quite some time. I don't want to get into all the details of that because some of that may be used against him, but we have him
Very strange.
presently in our Vanderbilt County Jail. He signed a waiver of extradition to go back to Alabama.
Did you guys see this comment down here? Strange that the first thing he says to the cops is, she shot herself. I didn't shoot her.
I've notified the sheriff there, and they are going to make arrangements to pick the suspect up and return him to the state of Alabama. Due to safety and security measures, we won't be divulging that to you. It won't be a public spectacle. When he leaves, they'll go out a hidden exit, and it won't be for public display. So we won't divulge the date and time when the Alabama authorities...
I bet you he's already on his way right fucking now. He's probably showing up in Alabama any minute now. They want his ass.
take the prisoner back to Alabama. Once again, I can't shout out enough praise to all the law enforcement here in our community for the hard work that they do. The task force, I was asked by a member of the media this morning if this was like an odd occurrence, and it's certainly not an odd occurrence. We arrest dangerous felon subjects every single week. We've been involved in multiple shootings in this community. We've shot people, we've been shot at. So this is law enforcement. This is today's law enforcement. It's a very dangerous occupation. So I hope the public realizes what we do is dangerous, and we have to take action to protect ourselves so each and every one of these fine men and women go home to their family and their loved ones, and we don't let the criminal win the war.
He's very passive aggressive, which I think comes with the job, right? His first reaction was, I didn't shoot her. She shot herself. And not, oh my God, help Vicky. She shot. Exactly. Again, it just shows what a psychopath he really is, right? I don't want to just throw words like that around, but he has no regard for anyone else but himself. Pretty much. Yes. Okay.
So I appreciate you being here. That pretty well wraps up what I have to say. We have multiple members here. If anybody wants to add to what
I mean, what's fucked up, honestly, is because he didn't die. Now, there's going to be a story to tell. There's going to be questions, so many questions for years to come. He's going right back to the situation he was in, but now he's technically responsible for this lady's demise. Like it was all his concocted plan. So far, we know. I'm wondering if there's going to be another lawyer or a lawyer pop up on his behalf to work him out of these extra charges, because they could very well pin so much on him. Besides the escape, she's no longer here to stand trial, you know. And wow.
I said, you're welcome to do that. Or if anybody has questions they want to ask
Yeah.
off this, go ahead. Yes, sir.
We know that Vicky White had $90,000 in cash with her. Have you located that money?
Yeah,
That's Brian Enton, everybody. Have you located the money? And now they're going to show us a picture of the money that they had left, which is about $29,000, which is, that's a bit odd.
Yeah, like if the cops didn't really give a shit in Indiana, why are they going to great lengths to photograph the evidence, photograph the money? They're acting very business as usual about it. Even after the sheriff down south has been doing press release after press release, like there's so much to gain out of this because it was such a tacky situation that happened on their end down in Alabama that that dude down there is just milking that shit up. And they're being so professional up here. Like they're like, we're not going to pursue charges, but whatever he gets down there, that's going to be on them. And I'm sure there are more charges to come. So in the end, was this all worth it for the inmate? I mean, to have what, 11 days of freedom? It shows how much you really fucking cared about your girlfriend to have an end result like this. You're still alive. You're going right back to an even worse situation. And the only thing you have to say about it is you got a little bit of freedom, as hectic as it was, but you'll have a story behind it. People are going to forget within 6 months. I mean, wow, man, I can't believe this.
Please explain to us why they were, in the middle of Evansville from May 3rd until May.
and made that statement.
You say they found drugs. When asked about drugs, they said nothing of significance.
There was no
So I don't
drugs.
know if they found any, or does it mean small amounts, or does it mean none at all? You know?
Speak to that, just kind of what this was like for you, your department, as well as maybe a really good time here. Maybe a collaboration between everyone here.
Well, yeah, remember in law enforcement, you can be a town like in Posey County where a deputy was shot in the head. You can be in New York City. You can be in
I feel like
Indiana.
this is all his fucking fault. This wasn't the video that I'd watched earlier, because she had one earlier that was like showing all kinds of shit. This is probably it, but we're not going to really look too much into it.
So look at this area. Firstly, look at this area. It's like residential area, and then there's this, and then there's this car wash. This is it. This is it. I'm saying it because, like, just look at what they were doing. Like, if you now look at the footage of Casey and just this, and you're just like thinking, what is he actually doing? Huh? Right? What is going on here? So let's just go like this. A lot of roadworks going on. I'm going to go down here. You're driving with Gina. Apparently he was parked in this first bay. So if you look at it from this side, All right, look at it like this. Weinbach Car Wash. The video footage that we looked at was from this one. So if you missed that in the beginning of the episode, it's from, he was allegedly parked in this first bay. Yeah. And maybe they just thought there's no cameras around here or something. Probably. Pretty presumptuous booking a room for 2 weeks. Right? Yeah. So,
Well, lady, I don't think they planned on staying there that long. I think they just went ahead and paid for the excess days in case they got stuck, which they did.
you could see it from all the footage, you know, when Brian Enton was there as well, speaking with James Stinson. Let's go down here. Ooh, I'm going around the corner just to have a look, you know, just to have a look. We want to peep. We want to turn, yeah, we want to go a little further and peep. Okay, there we go. Just to look at it. So he, oh, sorry. You guys are like, yeah, car wash song. So he was in this bay here. I'm pretty sure he thought, you know, there's not going to be cameras here. Well, James was on it. He's got his cameras here. Yes, he does. You know, a corrections officer and a career criminal. Didn't notice any cameras, right? Oh, my word. Apparently, she drove in with the Cadillac and picked him up in it, and they just left the Ford there with the keys in the ignition. What? And apparently also a gun case, but no gun in it. Wow.
That dude said a gun lock.
Interesting. So yeah, this is literally
But maybe
it
a
if
gun
you
case.
Walk around here. I mean, here's a thrift store.
That's the thing about news. Like whoever's reporting whatever, you're not gonna get the facts because one person's gonna say something some way, and some like a gun case makes more sense. If you're gonna need that gun at a moment's notice, you're gonna need to be able to get to it. By having it in a gun box, you can kind of elude. If you were to get pulled over and they're like, "Are there any weapons in the car?" and they don't know who you are yet, you could be like, "Oh, yeah, there's one, but it's put up, you know, it's in the box, whatever." And they'll see how it's like dealt with in a professional manner to a degree. I don't know what the gun laws in Indiana are, but yeah, I sure as hell wouldn't have, because the way some gun locks are, you got to have the slide open, mag out, and then the actual wire goes down through into like a padlock. And it's like, that would take too much fucking time to unlock at a moment's notice if you needed it. So I'm thinking maybe there was a gun case for it because you can put extra mags in it and shit, you know.
I mean, they could have left the vehicle freaking anywhere. Even here, I don't know, just like at the thrift store. But no, they have to leave it at the car wash. I mean, and in the way to the point where James had to have it towed himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Glitter is gone. Why the secrecy? This guy has 75 years pending now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Working at the car wash. Yes, it's so weird that they said, yeah, even at Walmart, leave the car at Walmart, leave it at a shopping center. I mean, I don't know, leave it at the motor. What are you doing at the car wash in the first place?
It's probably the first place that they could think of that was not so much in a professional large area to where like, oh, let me go to a Walmart where there's more and better cameras and more witnesses, and they kind of had to pick and choose where they tread, you know, just based on the situation. The only thing that was getting them by was the fact that they were changing cars every other state, literally. And I think that worked for a little bit, but once Mr. fucking Keystone Cop over there was doing press releases like the freaking Kardashians every day, it was looking more terrible, and just more people started paying attention to it because it turned into this drama to the point where people wanted to see them in this love story where they actually make it. It's a twisted world.
He allegedly didn't even wash the car. It was just to ditch the car. Oh, that's just so crazy. A lot doesn't make sense. Yeah, hiding that truck. So, and then they went north.
She is thorough. I will give her
Maybe
that.
they stopped at the McDonald's. How do we know? Like, what did they eat for all that time? Did they order in? Did they have food delivered? Did they actually go out with a wig on, you know? Fancy new department store
pay and
clothing.
spray.
Motel 41. It's been renamed, apparently. It's still, when I search it, it says Motel 41, but it's like Motel 6, I see. So if we just put the little man here, see, now we can look around. This is where they stayed. Huh? Interesting. I think we could drive in there a little bit. Let's try.
Oh, come on. It's not that
We're going
fucking
in, guys.
crucial, bro.
Surveillance footage by James was then not very far either. So if
Okay, so basically all this shit hit the fan over the fact that this guy was upset that there was a left vehicle there. He worked there or owned it or something. I don't know, but it bothered him to the point that his loose lips sank that whole ship, along with some other, I don't want to say poor decisions because they were already under pressure, doing good how they were getting by, but it took that one little fucking thing. So, man, it's I kind of wish that I could have heard news that maybe another week went by, perhaps a month, and then we found out they were in freaking Venezuela or something, like so long as they didn't hurt anyone along the way, because just because she was a jailer doesn't mean like her only special superhero power was able to walk him out of there. The rest was on them. He was not planned for this. He had to rely on her. He's been stuck inside for so long that she had to put all this together thus far. Yeah. And I just really hated that she went out. Like I expected him to, honestly. And I'm thinking maybe he lied to her and said that he would do it too. Like they had some kind of a blood pact. It's like, if you go, I go kind of thing. And he chickened out, or maybe he couldn't get the gun. And I know some people are against like religiously killing themselves. I'm not sure how different religions look at it or whatever, but obviously everything that she lost, she had already made the decision a long time ago. Hey, if this goes south, you're on your own, dude. Like I already know what I'm going to do because I have nothing to go back to. I'll be drugged back out to town. See you later, Joe. Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate the commentary. I think I don't know. He probably just didn't give a fuck at that point because once he lost her, he knew it was over. Like he already knew once they got caught, it was over anyway. Do you think they were going to write each other letters? Fuck no. Yeah, I think he talked up a good old game to her and was like, baby, this is us. We are all in. We're going to do this. I don't give a shit. We're going down, blah, blah, blah. That's why I'm hoping the only and last thing that he could do appreciatively to the entire situation, because he's going to ultimately pay for all of it anyway, is to be honest. Don't lie about this. Don't lie about that. I'm thinking maybe if he shows them that, look, I just wanted to break out. She offered to help me. She had a means. I fell in love with her. She loved me. I mean, it's obvious she did, or else she wouldn't have went through all of this. I'm thinking her killing herself was to avoid the prosecution, the embarrassment, the shame, having to face the media. Think about it. I was saying this the other night. She worked in that jail for 17 years. And we've always known that jailers, they get to go home, but they spend 12 or more hours a day there. It's like they're locked up too. The cops are locked up in there with you. And she's probably seen so many lives and scenarios and people that were just, she already knew what to expect once she was on those other side of the bars, And that's probably why she was able to make this decision, because that bullet's a lot faster and changing than the balls it took to grow, to do and manifest this whole ordeal. So that's why tonight I felt like, because I sheepishly made an episode the other day to talk about it because it was trending. I honestly feel bad for the lady, because now this whole thing is over. It's taken a different course, and now people are just going to be on standby waiting to see what is being said and what they're going to ultimately do with this Casey guy. And he has to live with this guilt if he has any for it. Could be, who knows? I mean, not so much a big shot, but he'll be the talk of the fucking yard for a couple months. Like, but still, you're going to have that burden of guilt of, look at what you did. And you're going right back to the same scenario. Was 11 days of freedom and losing somebody you had a chance to get close to that helped you, that genuinely helped you out of probably genuine love at the time? Was it worth all that? Man, this whole thing has been fucking terrible. So, guys, on that note, if you want to find out more about how this whole thing unfolds, and I'm sure we're going to get more intel by tomorrow because so much has come in today, I guess I'll leave it at that. This story is concluded. Guys, stay out of trouble. Stay safe. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Yeah, obviously. But it's over. It's truly over. So, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for stopping by. For returning viewers, please stop by and hit that like. But I'm going to go ahead and jet. I love you all. Peace.